So what's up guys, it's Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, and today I'm your host, Ben, who has been presenting this video since we started a series. Today we'll be talking about a new tool which we created. As usual, it's an in-house tool we built, and currently the tool is still in the first version of the tool, not the final version. But before we talk about this tool, let's just have an overview of how web security, the landscape of cybersecurity has been evolving since the past years, especially when we talk about content delivery networks and web security in terms of web servers and web application IP addresses and domain names hiding behind a CDN network, a CDN services, sorry. So in previous years, before CDN started becoming popular, all web applications generally have a domain name, and these domain names are assigned a unique IP address by the domain registrar. So you can either access these various web services or web applications or websites, whatever you identify it as, via the IP addresses or their domain names. But since the origin of CDN networks and firewalls and protections, most organizations, as we all know, started migrating their servers and their web hosting services to this CDN services as well. So basically, whenever you try to now access these websites, you discover that this content coming from this website are proxied from the CDN services. So what does this mean is that whatever information that is coming or originating from the website you're visiting, this first hits the CDN, and the CDN now supplies this data or information you're requesting. So basically, when you try to do a lookup in terms of the address or information about the website or web application, you discover that you end up finding the IP address of the CDN services, right? So it also makes it difficult for you to hack this origin server, because CDN services do not only provide proxy servers to shield these various web services, IP addresses or domain names, but it also provides additional security measures. So these security measures are like bot protection, brute force attack, preventing such security flaws from compromising the web application or web services. Then the most important one also is preventing flooding of network traffic. So these CDN services, as we know, provide this security to ensure that these various web applications are secured. Even if you're a security researcher, or you're an ethical hacker or a malicious hacker, you try to hit these various servers, you discover that they are passing through the content delivery network. And this also makes it much difficult to hack these services, because most of those payloads or injection codes that we try to inject into these various servers have been filtered on the back end of this CDN services. So even if you try to inject it, you either get temporarily blocked or permanently blocked from accessing that services, because at the back end of the configuration, the web security expert has enforced some hardened configurations by integrating these provisions or security configurations, which is provided by the CDN services they are using. So in order to ensure that web applications are safe, most organizations, if not all, are starting to migrate their services through these various CDN services. For instance, we have the Bunny, we have the Akamai, we have the Cloudflare, we have Amazon CDN as well. So these are various content delivery network services that are out there. It's very important that even though you are not an expert in terms of web security, you should always, patronize these services to ensure that your web application is secure. In a way, it's like you contracting your risk to these third-party organizations, right? So you just pay a fee if you are on the paid plan, and The rest, you just implement some configurations and allow the CDN services to take care of these various security attacks that is trying to hit your server. But in as much as these things happens, web hosting services, as we all know, always do updates. Not just updates, they also migrate a lot of their services, right? And most organizations, especially small and medium enterprises who have websites, basically do not pay for dedicated server. Most of them could not afford the fee, so they end up, paying for shared hosting. And these various shared hosting, from time to time, there's always a maintenance done by these web hosting services. And of course, during those maintenance, certain options like changing the IP address of the server where this website are hosted is always occurring. Now, if the IP address of this, server is changed, it's not the duty of the web hosting services to migrate to your CDN. It's the duty of the web security expert to do that. So most security experts might not be aware because they are not constantly checking their email addresses to, follow up with news updates regarding the web hosting services, the new patches they've conducted on the web server, right? So these security flaws can reveal the actual IP address of the web hosting or the server where this website are hosted. And of course, if you have access to those IP address, you can now find a way to, compromise it, to look for loopholes using your Nmap tools and other vulnerability scanners you can use to know open ports and services that are running, and of course, take advantage of those open ports and services. So in the bid to also help newbies who are not yet expert in terms of conducting penetration testing, knowing how to bypass these various firewalls and firewall rules, we created something, a script based on shell. So this script basically is a code script, and it's just the first version. The second version will be coming up soon, but definitely not this year. And we wouldn't disclose the date when it's going to be out because we are working on a better feature in the second version, which we will not disclose yet until we are done with that. At the end of the day, when you're done watching this presentation, you would know the benefit of using the script and how you can also use it as part of your passive recon automation process, because you want to, find your own vulnerabilities, and you don't have to wait for you to be an expert before you get to that stage where you find your own vulnerabilities. So that being said, let's move on to today's episode. On today's episode, our tools for today is Masswhois. So Masswhois is a shell script for new bug bounty hunters who aren't skillful yet in bypassing CDN services. And this script offers them the flexibility to scan both individual bulk domain addresses, subdomain and IP addresses, and outputs the result to an HTML file. The security researcher who is inexperienced can then scan through these results to identify IPs and domains not behind a CDN, and then proceed to use the automation tools such as Nmap to scan for vulnerabilities. So like we said, whenever you do a recon, you always get a lot of domains, right? So these domains, as we all know, like for big corporations like Apple, they have over thousands of domains, if it's not even up to 20,000 or 30,000 of domains and subdomains out there, right? So in as much as they register these domains, sometimes they do not have that security awareness to configure certain domains to be on the, the CDN services, right? So if you're a security researcher and you come across these domains, there is 60 to 70% chance that by the time you resolve that domain into an IP address or directly test those domains, you can, uncover some vulnerabilities that can be critical, right? Newbies also do not have this idea because at the end of the day, they just, following the rat race, which of course is like trying to look out for vulnerabilities such as XSS and all that. So, but with this Masswhois tool right now, they just need to hone their skills in using Metasploit and searching for, proof of concept in terms of scripts or codes that can be used to exploit vulnerable components which they will discover when they use their Nmap tool. So this tool, we built it, and this is the first version like we previously said. The second version will be coming up not this year, but by the time we're done, it's going to be part of the tools we are going to be using during our penetration classes and courses that we'll be conducting next year. So to get about the documentation and read about how to install and use this tool, kindly visit the GitHub link in this presentation and clone the repository, and of course, run the commands that we are instructed in the documentation. So without wasting much time, we'll be demonstrating a few concepts with this tool and show you how it works. So we'll be launching our Kali Linux machine. Then we go to our GitHub account. We already pinned it here on our pinned repository. It's already pinned here. So you can click this. This is the tool, Masswhois. Okay, so you can read about the documentation. It's just a short documentation, not so elaborate. So you come here, you copy this. Then we launch our terminal. We'll minimize this. Today we'll be testing this tool. We've not done it with a huge test file. So today we'll be demonstrating it to show you. Hopefully it works. The domain names we've tested was about 100 or 200, but we decided that in this video we'll be testing over 20,000 domains and subdomains to see how it runs. So I will set it to my desktop. Then I will git clone and I'll paste the URL and I'll hit enter. So this should not take about 60 seconds. Good. Now I set it to Masswhois. Good. Now if I ls, this is the tool we are going to use. So if I want to check for the help commands, I just say sudo masswhois.sh. First provide our password. So here you can see for help commands and how to use it. Okay, so this is about the tool. Let's say we want to do for this first domain, right? So I'll say sudo masswhois.sh. So it's now a desktop. So desktop, and let's try the first text file. Then what's the output? I also want to put it on desktop. Then hit enter. Now we'll wait for the Masswhois to conduct everything. And once it's done, it will try to pop up our Firefox. But if your Firefox is on, you would have this error that Firefox is already running. Okay, now just close this. I can just come here, open with Firefox or Chromium. Okay, let's use Chromium browser. Let's see. Good. Now this is the result. You can see. Once you get this results, the next thing you just have to do is just scan through. It's not going to take your time. Okay, name server is acam.net. Of course, I know this is a CDN. I just keep it. I'll keep scrolling. I'll be looking for the name servers. Akamai, just remove it. Just keep scrolling. Akam, you see? So I'll just keep going. Now this is Akamai as well. I'll keep going. Now for this one, you can see this subdomain here, right? You can see there is no information matching. It's because this subdomain, when you check it with Whois, it's going to hit to the original domain register. Let's try something so you can see. Whois.is. So if it's not showing any results, then it means it's still hitting the, you can see. So the original domain name is this. So the script was built in such a way that you don't have duplicate results. So whatever result you have is basically what is there. So there will be no duplicates. So that's the reason why, sorry about that. So that's the reason why you see here, we do not have any information. So just keep looking. Once you see Akamai net name or name server, just keep it. I mean, this is basically for you that is a newbie in cybersecurity who's not yet skilled. So the purpose is for you to have your easy wins, right? And once you have your easy wins, you can now move on to learning further how to bypass CDN and WARF and all that. We'll keep scrolling. Akamai. So we keep scrolling. We keep scrolling. We keep scrolling. Akamai. Same with this. If we hit this subdomain, we'll be hitting this. So no need to check it. Akamai. 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 So this is what you should be looking out for. Want to see this or Cloudflare or Bunny, you should know that, okay, these are all CDNs, right? Akamai. Akamai. Now, you can see this. This is a net name, HP Pop Nets, right? And now, looking at this right now, this, of course, is a range of IP address used by the organization, right? So definitely, and you can see the last time it was updated was this. And if you go further, you could see, where is that? This is the parent name. So you can see here, right? HP PubNet, right? So, and you see the company is Hewlett Packard. So seeing this type of domain right now, you know that this is not behind a CDN, right? But this is just an example, okay? So this is the IP address. So this IP, right? You can see right now is hubs.net. So you keep checking. The ones you do not find that has Akamai, you should know that those IP addresses are. Now, for instance, this one is Microsoft, right? So you can now see the range of IP or the CIDR, right? So these are the CIDR. You can decide to scan and check for vulnerabilities, right? So in this type of situation, you should be very, very good with Metasploit, and not just Metasploit, and how to also search for POCs, which is a proof of concept on ExploitDB, right? So once you're able to do these two things, number one, like we said, you learn how to search for, you learn how to use the Metasploit, and two, you learn how to search for the proof of concept. So once you can do these two things, you're good to go. Now let's demonstrate the bigger domain. So let's delete this. So this domain belongs to Apple. It's over, I want you to see something here. It's over 26,000. We've not done this. So this is the first time we're going to do this. So let's see what's going on. So it's a mixture, actually it's a mixture of Apple and Microsoft. Remember when we demonstrated our comp file, the comp F file, right? So we use these domain names, right? And you can see here, we have over 26,000. So let's simulate Masswhois and see if it's going to work. So we come here, we call it Apple. Let's do something first. Let's copy this here. We paste this here so we don't confuse ourselves. So ls, right? Now let's run sudo masswhois.sh apple1.txt, and we call it apple.html. I think so we have to wait over 26,000 domain names. So wait to see how long it's going to take. Now, you can see we did not put it in the desktop, right? So this is going to be in the directory here, Masswhois. You can see. So it's still scanning. That's the reason why we've not seen the result yet. So this is the first time we're trying it with over 26,000 worth of domains. So let's see how long it's going to take. The result is going to be very massive. It's going to scan through every damn thing to get the result. So this part of the video, we'll just fast forward it. So it's more than 5 minutes now. Apparently, this is the largest domain we've scanned with this tool. We decided to demonstrate it in this video to see how long it's going to take. So over 26,000, I think over 26,000, yeah, domains. So let's see. Let's just see how long it's going to take. So the reason why we trying to test this, of course, is definitely because we want to see how it runs for such a large domain. Then this will give us an insight of what we should be including in the version 2. So let's see. Let's see how long it's going to take. So far, it's been more than 10 minutes. So see how it goes. So let's just close this and see. Let's see how many results so far, right? So let's check. Okay, you can see, right? It's conducting everything and it's going to take some time. Okay. Now, if we look at this right now, I wanted to see something. And we come to Masswhois. Let me see. This is the one we did before, right? Okay, let's look for before the Masswhois, right? Now let's come here and paste this. This should be hitting back Apple's original server. You can see, right? That's why we don't have a result. So let's see. Yeah, I know it's gonna take some time. You can see Akmai, right? So give the tool a try and run it with heavy scripts. Check it out and tell us in the comment section, like via our social media, on your findings in terms of how long it took for you to scan, let's say about 1,000 files. We've tried it, but just try it. You can see it's definitely has scanned more than 100. You can see our icon is still here. We've been scrolling endlessly. So give it a try. Try and check out the script and tell us what you find interesting about the script, as we are still working on it, but we felt we should just share. So here we can see these subdomains are, none of them have information, or all on the same name server, which is apple.com, right? So I'm looking for an IP. I just want to see if Apple has any IP facing the public internet. So definitely not, right? So yeah. So this tool is a cool and awesome tool. So if you can use this tool to run this type of, recon, and you're lucky to find IP addresses that do not have a protection behind a CDN, you can now find a way to exploit it and, of course, find vulnerabilities. So that's it for this week's episode on Tools Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Feel free to clone the repository. Please do not forget to give us those stars, okay? We all like stars. Everyone likes stars, right? Yeah, so do not forget to give us stars. We love the stars. It's such a way we can get our repository popular. And try it, like we rightly said today. Try it with, doesn't matter, even if you have 100,000 lines of subdomains, just try it and see what the result would be. And if you know anywhere we can improve as well, just, share with us. It can be a comment, it can be a tag. Just share with us and we'll look into it. But this year, we are not releasing the version 2 of this tool. It's just a beta test regarding the tool, the concept of what we want to build with this tool. So feel free to use it. And for the newbies, it's basically we did it for you guys. So take your time, use it, learn about it, do your recon, get your domains, your subdomains. And maybe you're lucky, you could find an IP address that is not behind a CDN. And of course, by the time you fire up your Nmap, you probably might find also a vulnerability that that is hiding behind an open services or port. Okay, so give it a try and do let us know whatever your findings are. So with that, we have come to an end of this week's episode. If you find this video interesting, please do not hesitate to give us a like by hitting that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be the first to get notified when next we make another episode on Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.